Hey y'all, welcome back to Avery's Apron. My name is Avery, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make the most flavorful, tender roast beef in the crock pot. Okay, this recipe is absolutely foolproof. It will come out tender and delicious every time if you make it this way, okay? I'm excited to share the recipe, so let's get right into it. All right, so I am starting off with these two beautiful beef chuck roasts. Okay, the marbling on these is fantastic, and that is what you want when you're looking for the perfect chuck roast. You want to pick one that has really good marbling, and by marbling I mean like the little lines of fat all throughout the roast. Okay, this is what's gonna make sure that your meat is tender. Okay, that fat is gonna render down and kind of like melt away as it's cooking, and that's honestly what's gonna infuse your roast with so much flavor and keep it nice and tender. Okay, so don't be afraid of the fat. All right, it's gonna cook down, it's gonna be fine. Okay, but I am just seasoning these. I'm using two today because I'm feeding quite a few people. Obviously if you're feeding less people, you can use just one. Okay, but as you can see, I'm just seasoning my roast here. I've went in with some salt, pepper, garlic and onion powder. I'm also going to go in with some oregano and some thyme as well. Okay, also, I'm rubbing the seasoning into the meat, okay, just to make sure everything gets nice and acquainted in there. Okay, you really want to make sure that your meat is seasoned well. Okay, so just don't be afraid to be generous and really pat that seasoning in. So now that our roast is nicely seasoned, we are going to go ahead and sear this and get it ready for the crock pot, okay? I have this large skillet here over medium-high heat, and I'm drizzling in just a little bit of olive oil. And off to the side, I actually dusted my roast with all-purpose flour, okay? So about 2 to 3 tablespoons of flour per side. I just sprinkled it over and I rubbed it in as well. You don't need a whole lot for this, okay? This is just going to help your roast to brown nicely in the skillet, and it's going to help to create a nice gravy in the crock pot when we go and put it in the crock pot. Okay, so now that my pan is evenly coated with the oil, I'm just going to go ahead and lay my roast in. Okay, as you can see, I lightly dusted it with flour. Okay, you don't need a whole lot of flour for this at all. Okay, I know some people like to really like coat this in flour, but you don't need all that flour. Okay, just a little goes a long way with this. So browning this took about 4 to 5 minutes per side. Okay, we're just getting a nice little golden brown crust on each side, and then we're going to go ahead and take this over to the crock pot. All right, so I've set my roast to the side, and as usual, you guys, you can find all of my exact ingredients, measurements, and recipe instructions down in the description box below, okay? But here, I'm just prepping my crock pot for the roast. So I'm making a nice little bed of veggies for the roast to lay on. I'm going in with some chopped onion, celery, and potato, okay? You can also go in with carrot at this point. I didn't realize I didn't have any carrot until after I started recording this, so you're gonna see me add the carrots in later, but for now, we're just going in with the veggies that we have. I'm also gonna go ahead and season the veggies as well, so I'm using the same seasonings that I seasoned the roast with. Okay, I also want to note that you want to chop your veggies on the larger side, okay, because these are going to be cooking nice and low and slow. You don't want them to cook down and become too mushy. Okay, so chopping them larger will help them to really keep their shape and not get too soft in the cooking process, okay? But yes, like I said, layering in the veggies, the seasonings, and now we're going to go ahead and lay our roast in as well. I did save a few of the veggies off to the side because I'm going to like put them around the edges as well as on top of the roast, okay? But yes, I'm laying that in, and then I'm also going to go in with my cream of mushroom soup and half a can of cream of celery, okay? Now, for the cream of mushroom soup, after you add that in, you want to go ahead and fill it with either water or broth. Give it a stir to kind of loosen up all that excess soup that's stuck in the can, and then you want to pour that over top as well, okay? We are also going to go in with some Worcestershire sauce, a little bit more seasoning, a couple of bay leaves, and then we're going to pop the lid on this and let it cook on low for about 5 to 6 hours. Also, another little pro tip that I forgot to mention earlier, you want to work with almost room temperature meat, okay? So before you start prepping your veggies and everything, pull your roast out of the fridge, set it on the counter so that the chill can kind of start to come off of it, okay? So after you set it on the counter, then start prepping your veggies, washing your potatoes, cutting them up, pulling out your seasonings, getting your crock pot set up. Do all that after you've removed your roast from the fridge, okay? That way, your roast will stay tender, okay? Sometimes, and this goes for any meat, honestly, cooking it fresh and cold out of the fridge kind of shocks it and causes it to be tough, okay? So you want to make sure that you give it a chance to kind of come to room temp, and that way it'll help it to stay tender as it cooks, okay? All right, guys, we are back after about 6 hours. I put this on at like 8 a.m. and at this point it was like 2:45, almost 3 in the afternoon, okay? So we're giving this a quick stir. As you just saw, our roast beef is already super tender. I was able to pull that little piece away with my spoon. Yes, so satisfying, okay? Now we are going in with my baby carrots. I'm using baby carrots because we're adding them in so late in the game, okay? Our roast beef is just about finished, so I want my carrots to cook up fairly quickly, so I'm using baby carrots, okay? But yes, I'm giving this a taste to make sure that the seasoning is right, and it was. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this browning seasoning. This is just going to give our gravy a nice, rich, deep flavor. It's gonna be so good, you guys, trust me, okay? Add that in. We're gonna stir it around a little bit, and it's also gonna help with the color as well. It's just gonna give it that nice rich brown gravy color, okay? So we're gonna stir this around. I'm gonna pop the lid on it, let it go for another hour and a half or so, just so that my carrots have a chance to get soft, okay? Off camera, I did add in a little bit of chicken stock as well, okay? Just to add a little more liquid to my pot. You can use beef stock, obviously, it's totally up to you, okay? But after 2 hours, we are back, okay? I've got my bowl and I've got a spoon. I'm gonna take the lid off, and remember at the beginning I told you about the fat and the marbling in our roast beef. It rendered down, okay? And the fat kind of settles at the top. So what you want to do is grab a large spoon or ladle, something, and just kind of press your spoon on the surface of the pot and just, like, you know, kind of try to skim off that fat, okay? Get as much of it as you can. It's kind of tough to do without, you know, getting too much of the gravy, but just do the best you can, okay? We're gonna skim the fat off the top, give this another stir, and then we will be ready to eat. All right, you guys, I just stepped away to fix myself a nice little bowl of white rice, and we are back. Okay, I threw a little tab of salted butter on my rice, gave it a stir, and now we're gonna plate up the roast beef. Guys, this is like the most exciting part to me, okay? It just makes me so happy. Guys, watch how tender this is. Look at that. It just pulls away. It just pulls away. It's beautiful. It's so, so good. Please give this recipe a try, you guys. It is so good. You will not be disappointed, okay? Yes, I'm just plating up some of this roast beef. I'm gonna add a little potatoes, a little carrots to my plate. I'm gonna, of course, spoon over some of that gravy. And that is it for today's video, you guys. I really, really hope you guys give this recipe a try. I hope you enjoy it. Yes, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. And stay tuned till the end, okay? My dad's gonna give this a try for you guys, and he really, really enjoyed it, okay? I will talk to you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!
but
What do you think?
I think it's good.
You ain't even tried it
Because I ain't
yet.
got my stuff together yet.
Well, hurry up.
You're rushing me to get my stuff together. I ain't got no hot sauce on it. I ain't said
You
it
about to
right.
add more hot sauce?
Yeah, on my rice. I just got rice.
We're waiting.
Okay, what I'm...
The roast beef.
The roast beef. Oh, yeah, it's tender. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Real tender.
Thanks for trying it.
Ooh, it melted in your mouth, huh?
Ooh.